What's up everyone, Alex here. Now, I want to talk today about how we can live a life of less stress. I was having some issue today with a project that I'm working on and feeling that frustration that comes with not feeling prepared enough and not seeing the clarity that I need in order to know that this project is possible and is going to work, is going to be a success. I see it and I can feel the resistance of it not working, and I can feel the worry that comes with it not working out. And this is a book that I'm writing, and I'm thinking one minute feeling good about it, and then the next minute thinking this is going to be a dead project and I'm wasting my time, and then feeling that anger that comes with it. And it got me thinking about how to deal with stressful moments in our lives and how it doesn't require all that much to make life a hell of a lot easier when you understand how stress works and you understand the tools that we all have in our toolboxes in order to quickly diminish stress and actually move forward in life in such a way that we can turn stress into an amazing positive very, very quickly. And I was just thinking about how much I've changed, because when I stumbled across this stress today with this project, I realized how quickly I was able to turn it around and turn it into something that I was actually motivated about doing again, and I was excited about, and I was positive about. Whereas even 1 or 2 years ago, I would have come across the same issue and I would have ruminated on it, and I might have gotten angry and stayed angry for longer and not been able to manage my emotions in a mature way. And you might have seen me talk about in another video this idea that a lot of us create a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety and fear and anger in our lives because we perceive externalities, whether it be the perceived judgments of other people, events that stress us out, whatever it is in life that is causing us stress and frustration. We think that those things, those events, those externalities are creating our stress, where in effect, that's not true at all. And I talked about the example of me getting very stressed and wound up about an upcoming social event that I didn't want to go to. And I was blaming the potential for other people to, would cause me stress, and I was getting annoyed about this event, whereas in actual fact, it wasn't the event itself that was causing me this anxiety, this anticipatory anxiety in advance of it. It was me resisting reality, and in resisting, creating tension in my body, in my physicality. So this applies to any kind of externality that you assume is creating your stress, your emotion, your negative emotional response. So again, it could be you approaching a girl in the street and you are creating a kind of fearful, anxious state, and you're assuming, you're perceiving the girl to be the source of that stress, whereas in actual fact, you got to get real about it and realize that it's all you. You are creating tension in yourself based on your perception of reality. And so when you can understand how things break down in that respect, as in externality leads to resistance, you are resisting reality, you are not allowing reality to be as it is, you're saying no to reality, you're saying I don't like how things are turning out here, this is not a good feeling for me. And of course, in resisting anything, whether it be I don't want to go to this event, I don't want to do this homework, I don't want to write this article, you create tension. And when you can understand that it's the tension that you're creating, then you know how to break it down and you know how to deal with that tension. And this is what I applied today when I came across this issue with not being happy with the way my book was turning out. I did what I always do now, which is to make use of the tools that I know work in addressing this tension, which will then lead to good decision making and good results. So rather than getting hung up on the material, getting hung up on the event, getting hung up on the project that isn't working, or the perceived pain that is happening to me in the real world, I turn away from that. I turn my attention away from that and I go inward. I go into the tension and I look to resolve the tension. And I do that by bringing attention to an area just behind my eyes. And this is just one of many techniques you can use to resolve tension. And the way that I do it is and I've borrowed this from Zen teachers and, the whole meditation world, is to direct your attention, so you can think of it in a nice way, to relieve tension, direct your attention to some area in the body. So it could be in your chest, it could be anywhere, but I choose this area behind the eyes, behind the forehead, and I just direct attention. I might sit somewhere in a meditative position, or I might just do this as I'm walking about and whatever, just sort of carrying on with my daily life. I will direct attention to a sort of ping pong ball sized sphere behind the eyes. And I do this with the intention of allowing everything around that space to just drop, to be released. And when you do this, when you direct attention, and all it is attention, you're not trying to shift any muscles or hold anything in a particular way or tense up in a particular way, because this is all about releasing tension. So it's interesting how attention can release attention in an incredibly powerful way. So by addressing attention to a specific spot, just here, and just sitting with that awareness for 1 minute, 10 minutes, however long it takes, and allow your body to release itself. It can be in steps, it can be all at once. It's more likely that everything is going to slowly relax around it. You'll feel your eyes relax. You might find your whole jaw kind of slacks and relaxes. So you might want to do this in a private space and not look like a complete moron. And it's amazing how relaxed you can be compared to how you were before, and how much tension gets released just through this dedication of awareness, of attention to a particular spot. And just try this with the area behind the eyes. You'll find everything relaxes. And you'll find that it isn't so much the idea, the material, the event that is causing the stress or needs to cause the stress. It's you, and you have full control over the tension, and you have full control over how you release that tension. And when that tension goes, you'll be amazed at how much creativity comes up in its place. And you'll be able to do so much with that void, with that space. So when dealing with this book project today, rather than stewing on it all day and throwing my toys out the pram and getting really annoyed, I immediately just stopped what I was doing, took my attention away from the project and brought it towards a space behind my eyes where I just sat and relaxed and allowed the hooks to unravel. I allowed the threads to unravel and just allowed all my muscles, everything in my body to relax. And then the problem was gone. In its place, I got this motivation and I got this extra sense of clarity on how things could change. And I got delivered all these incredible ideas about how things could be solved and how all the problems that I perceived from before could very easily be shifted and solved. And I was able to very quickly not only completely relax myself and get past that emotional negativity that was surrounding the issue, but I could also come up with some creative ideas on how to fix it. And that was all very, very quick. And it got me thinking how much has changed in the last few years. A few years ago, I would have stewed on it. I would have probably given up on the project altogether. But now, with this new awareness of how to deal with tension and how externalities lead to resistance, which leads to tension, I was able to just forget the externality and not focus on on trying to change things that are outside of me, and move that awareness to what I can change, which is my tension, and to relieve that tension. So try this. Whenever you get stressed on something, you could either, in the moment, just focus on relieving that tension, or just dropping the shoulders, or taking a few deep breaths. If you have a slightly gnarlier project to deal with, or a gnarlier stress that's been bugging at you, and that might be composed of many layers of stress over the years, you might sit down and take a long period to allow that tension to release. And it might move from behind the eyes to all parts of the body, and you might just work on each individual part bit by bit. And it could take several hours over several days to release these various tensions that pile up. But you'll be amazed at how much creativity is replaced when you get rid of those tensions, and how much control you actually really do have over your life, and how easy it is effectively to delete unnecessary stress and resistance out of your life, making everything so much easier. So it makes approaching fearful things easier, because you know how to deal with that. You now know that it's not the thing in question that is scaring you, it's just your tension to it. It's your resistance to it. And when you know how to deal with resistance, you know how to deal with life. So that's something to think about. Hopefully you can make use of some of these ideas. I'm going to explore other tools in other videos. If there's one thing I'd ask you to do, is to subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to hear more stuff like this about relieving tension and relieving anxiety in your life. And I talk a lot about building business and becoming a coach and all kinds of other good stuff. So follow me and I'll see you in the next video.